Hey guys, what's up? 5 o'clock update. If you haven't been awake yet, you're waking up to snow. If you have been awake, then you know that for most people, particularly in South Central PA, it's been snowing all morning. Here at my place in East York, we have a little over 3 inches. Well, at 5 o'clock I measured, we had exactly 3 inches. So now we have a little over 3 inches, and it's coming down in a decent clip. As I've been mentioning in my prior videos, this is high ratio snow. Colder temperatures, a little bit of precipitation produces much more snow than the average 10-to-1 ratio. Again, my screen's over there, so as I look away, pardon me. Cigar for this video is San Miguel by Gurkha. I'll let you know how it is if you smoke cigars. All right, here's some of the latest data. I'm not going to go into this too much because we are, for the most part, in what we call now a nowcast. This is part 1 of 2 of the storm. As we said, Sunday was always going to be a light to moderate event, not really piling up too much. Although I do like where we're at with some of the modeling, and I'll show you which ones have been depicting things the best so far. This is the Canadian. These are 3 hours. Excuse me, actually they're an hour. The dark blue is the moderate snow. That's 7 o'clock tonight. You're going to notice something, and I don't know if this is going to take place or not. Not so much on this model, but I don't know about this mix. I don't know if we're going to get into the mix. I think it's going to get close, but I don't know. And I'll show you why in a second. One thing I kept mentioning was that if this storm stays south of Ocean City trajectory, then we would get clobbered. And that was like what it was looking like 2 days ago. But watch. This thing's bouncing around more. Now it's starting to get north of Ocean City, and it's pushing some of the heavier precip and snow north. So there are going to be some changes to those areas in my forecast. Now, our area is still going to get snow and get a decent clip. I don't think that we're going to get the 20s to 30s that some of these models were showing, but I think that my forecast is still on a decent pace, particularly if we don't mix that sleet over. If we mix the sleet over and dry slot, then some of the modeling is showing that then those numbers are going to be drastically lower. That's a nowcast event. That's something I'm going to have to keep an eye on. But this is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. You notice these heavier bands. Now, I do think with this 99.5 low pressure back down, this low is just basically sitting here spinning. It's not going anywhere. I think that these bands are going to be more so back into York County. But we shall see. Long duration storm. And so that's the latest Canadian, which was showing crazy amounts, 60 inches. It's now down, but it still shows a tremendous amount of snow for parts of the Lehigh Valley, no longer the South Central Pennsylvania area. Here is the Canadian higher resolution, which is a shorter range model. It goes out 48 hours. And this was also showing some significant snow, which has since backed off for our area. But you'll still notice that those darker blues are sitting over there over York County. That is midnight tonight. And it shows this dry slot, and I don't know about this dry slot. If this dry slot comes, these models are going to be spot on. If it doesn't come, higher amounts. It's that simple. And as I said, that mix line right there. Don't know about that as well. But see like how this dry slot basically is all the way up here in eastern PA? This has this low pressure all the way out here with like another adjacent low right here, which doesn't make any sense to me. you'll notice like this is tomorrow, 3 o'clock. You'll see how the snow is getting heavier and heavier. And this is filling in. So we already have 3 inches on the ground, probably about 4 by about 7. And I'll show you why. And then it looks like it's going to get heavier throughout the night. And this keeps it around. Well, this only goes out for 48 hours. So this is 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Still showing some heavy snow. The latest GFS model, which just came out. Also, this is showing a good dump, and I kind of like how this is modeled where we're currently at from earlier today. So 4 o'clock, which is past, but some moderate snow. Now this is showing 7 o'clock. Looks like lighter snow, and I don't believe that, and I'll show you why. All right, what we're looking at here is the radar. This is the Sterling. Actually, no. There's the Sterling. Let me play this. See this all starting to kind of like develop and fill in down here? This all is moving this way. The darker the greens, the yellows, the oranges, that is pretty heavy snow. So I don't know where this dry slot per se is what the GFS and some other modeling is going to go to. As I said, that's a now time, or I should say real time type of monitoring. But there's 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock, the precip splits up a little bit. I'll show you down here. Keep your eyes down here because I'm going to show you something on another screen. Light snow, it's saying at 10 o'clock tonight. Don't believe it's too light. I believe it's more like moderate snow. And then, as I said, I don't know how close this mix line is going to get. 6 hours of mix versus 6 hours of snow when you have heavy snow, heavy precipitation is a difference of 2 to 5 inches of snow. In some cases, maybe 4 to 7 inches of snow, depending on how heavy it's coming down. So it could drastically alter the forecast. But this is tomorrow morning, 4 o'clock per the GFS. And you notice this starting to get real heavy snow here. 7 o'clock in the morning. Really heavy snow. 10 o'clock in the morning. See where this low pressure is? Right here. Basically at the mouth of the Delaware Bay, 992. This is tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's deeper than what it's been. But modeling was showing it down here. So if it is here, then yes, this heavier snow is going to be up here. If it's down here, this heavier snow drops down. But no matter which way you slice it, this is still a pretty good hit on our area. Basically drops down a deformation band. This is 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, 1 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning, 1 o'clock Tuesday afternoon, 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. Finally out of here from what this is saying by 7 o'clock. Let's just go in here to some NAMs. And I don't think that these models are really handling the situation all that good. And I might be 100% wrong. But let's just go back here and I'll show you. The 12Z run. Let's just replay what occurred today. First and foremost, it started snowing. Started snowing at 9 o'clock in the morning. This didn't even have precipitation in at 9. This is 10 o'clock here. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see something here. By 5 o'clock, this NAM said that about 1.7 to 2 inches of snow, and we're over that. If I do the Kuchera method, 2.4, we're still over that. I mean, it's by a half inch, but and I want to do this Kuchera method because I do believe the high ratio snows. So this, as I said, this NAM has been showing a lot of mixing, a lot of dry slot getting in. I mean, that's 5 inches, maybe 5 to 10 inches in York County proper. Same thing with Lancaster County, higher elevations. Shows a big dump up here. Now that was the 12Z run 6 hours ago. This is the latest run. Fills it in a little bit better, 6.3, 6.5. But, you know, we're talking these purples are more like 12. So it's showing a location dependent storm. I think it's going to be a little bit more than that. The Icon, which is a German, that shows a pretty good dump. That's 11.2. But what I like to keep an eye on is, so these are the 18Z, so that's like 1 o'clock. So this is saying from like 2, there's 3 o'clock. So from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, it showed a 1.7 inches of snow, which is pretty good. I think that we're on pace to that. And then it shows it getting significantly heavier throughout the night up to 4. And then the rest of the snow is going to come until tomorrow and Tuesday. So we got to see how this storm develops, basically, is what it comes down to. Let's go here to the what's known as the SPC page. I want to show you something. So this is like the Mid-Atlantic view. Show you 2-hour pressure changes here. So here was the original storm. Here is the developing storm. We'll go back 4 hours. What I want you to keep an eye on is this right here, this 1020. So we're at that point in time 4 hours ago, we were pressures 1023, 1022, current 1020. See this right here, -3. That means that this energy is starting to transfer from here to this area right here. The critical thicknesses, which are the thicknesses in the upper atmosphere, which determine whether you have rain, snow, sleet, freezing rain. Here they are right here. And I want to show you something. Pretty much all the way down 75 to 90 miles south of DC. I don't think that they're going to make it. And you'll notice like 4 hours ago, 2 hours ago, there really hasn't been much movement. So I don't know if the model's seeing something now. What it can be seeing is these getting closer this way. But as this low pressure here loses strength and this low pressure here gains strength, it locks in this colder air and the air starts coming in this way from northeast to southwest. So kind of like it's known as cold air damming. It locks it in. So I'm not too gung-ho. I'm not going to say there's not going to be a changeover, but I'm not too gung-ho on a full changeover. I think it's going to be more snow. Let me go back to the map here. I want to show you the GFS that we went over that showed a really good dump. I didn't show you that yet, but with the Kuchera method, 23.1 Thomasville, Eastern York, Wrightsville area. As you can see, this is coming down this way. Would be more like 24 to 28. So the big totals are still on the table. I'm not going to say the 20s to 30s unless I see things drastically different tomorrow. So we're still really 18 hours away from the main event. I mean, the storm is developing, but until we feel the major impacts from the coastal, it's really not until tomorrow, probably starting at 10 o'clock on, maybe even later. Some good news is if you like snow, the European, this is the 12Z. It still shows a pretty decent dump of snow. And sorry, I screwed that up there. There we go. Kuchera method. 17, 18, 19, 20 inches. But one common theme that you're seeing is that this heavier stuff that all the modeling was bouncing around is up here in the Lehigh Valley. The difference between that being there versus directly over South Central PA is really pretty simple, and it doesn't take a lot. The storm, instead of it staying parallel with Ocean City, Maryland, in north to produce this, the storm stays parallel with Ocean City, Maryland, and a little bit south. A matter of maybe 50 miles, 25 can make a difference in this of 17 and 30 inches of snow. So it is a tricky forecast, particularly when you get involved with the mixing and the dry slot. I'm going to keep an eye on this dry slot. One thing I want to say, the European has handled the snow forecast from this morning pretty good. You're going to notice here, some of those darker greens and yellows, that is heavy, heavy snow. And you'll see it's moving this way. And what you're seeing here is there's more precipitation developing there. Now let me show you the Dover radar, because I want to show you how. Now this is still, as I said, round 1 of 2. But as the coastal takes over down here, this is going to fill in. Notice how the precipitation's moving southwest to northeast. Tomorrow, when you look at this radar, it's going to be moving northeast to southwest. It's going to be kind of crazy because you get the turn and pivot. And with the storm just sitting off the coast here, it's basically fueling in moisture off the Atlantic, banking that up against cold air back here. And models aren't really good at predicting snowfall rates when you have what's known as a low-level jet at 850 millibars. So there's going to be a lot of surprises. I do know that. And there's going to be a lot of banding features. I do know that as well. And as I said in my previous videos, where you get rising air, which is increasing rates of precip, you also get sinking air. So it could be a scenario where East York is half an inch to an inch an hour, where West York, Thomasville area is 3-4 inches an hour. It's that precise. But I wanted to go back here to the European. And I just wanted to show this. This is the snow this is the 12Z. So this was the earlier run. 18Z will be coming out in about another hour. But it did a pretty good job of today. So this was 1 o'clock, and that was 4 o'clock. You notice this 2.9 inches. I was spot on at 5 o'clock at basically 3 inches of snow. So this model is handling things pretty good. And as I said in my prior videos, the Euro is normally the king. And then what it does from 4 to 7, it shows that another 2 inches. So it's 5:45 now. And that snow that's coming this way looks like it will produce probably about an inch and a half in that time frame. So that's pretty spot on. But what the Euro also does goes another inch to 10 o'clock. And then by 1 o'clock in the morning, 6.3 inches. And then watch what happens. See how it kind of slows down, 6.3, 6.5, 6.8. That's 7 o'clock in the morning. And then really not that much till 10 o'clock. And then after 10 o'clock, there's another basically half an inch in 3 hours. So that's not a lot of snow. But then you get this at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 9.2, 10.3, 11.1. So that's still saying that the main event's still 24 hours away. So all the stuff that we get is considered bonus. But I do think it's doing okay. So I'm not changing my forecast for the area. I was really contemplating it. I was really contemplating going with the lower totals because the NAM model runs had me all shook up. I'm not going to do it. I normally make one forecast and I stick with it. And if I'm wrong, well, I'll learn from it. If I'm right, well, at least I didn't change it around 20 different times. Wanted to show something real quick. This is known as the HRRR. This is a short-range, high-resolution model, and it updates hourly, and it's okay. Sometimes it could be spot on. Sometimes it's, I don't know, mushy. But this is going out. So this is 7 o'clock. So this projects out to the future. So this is 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So it's shown by 12 that mixed line is getting pretty close. But what it was showing was this dry slot was over here. Now the dry slot's a little bit further east. And this is saying by now and let's see here. Let's do the Kuchera. Between now and 10 a.m. tomorrow, this is forecasting an additional 4 to 7 inches of snow. So with the 3 that's already on the ground now, we'll probably closer to 4 now. And if this model's saying that we're having an additional 4 to 7, that would mean that we're going to be pretty much up to the 8 to 12 range by 10 a.m. tomorrow. And then we still have the main brunt of the storm from tomorrow afternoon into Monday. And assuming that goes as planned and there's no hiccups, you get to 12 to 20 plus, maybe. Wife doesn't want 20 inches plus. So anyway, thanks for viewing. That's all for now. One more look at this radar. Let's go back to the Sterling site. I'll post this link in the comments so you can keep an eye on this. It automatically updates if you go here. Just keep it running so that you can watch the storm develop if you want, if you're interested in it. But these heavier bands are going to be coming in relatively soon. Take care, guys.